Hello and welcome to Star Wars Obsessed. I have made many videos. Most of the videos focused on one piece of my Star Wars collection. But what I've never done is actually show how I've displayed my collection or a display. Well, actually I have in one of the videos many years ago, but it's pretty brief. I just showed it, but I didn't talk about it. But this time, I'd actually like to talk about it. Maybe tell you a little bit about each piece and the history behind the piece if I can remember. So let's check it out. Okay, all right. So here's the Princess Leia. I featured that in a video recently on how I got that one, and this is the Han Solo that I got, and I have a video where I recently purchased this. So these I've already talked about. Now, some of the other things I have not talked about. This cup that I got. Wait, look how dirty it is. It's yellow. It's dirty. It's used. I actually used it back in the day. I got this back in the 80s, and I was a teenager, but I still used it because I love my Star Wars stuff. And I was careful with it as much as I could, but I wanted to use it. I no longer use it, obviously, because it's in here. But it's like I don't know if you can see it in the video, but the top part is pretty bitten on. So I don't know what I was thinking back in the day, but I'm still happy to have this in my collection because it has a lot of history. The other cup I have is the promo cup. Now, where did this come from? I'm trying to remember. Does it say? Oh, it's Burger King. Oh, it's one of the Burger King glasses. And I unfortunately only got one back in the day. If I have others, I don't remember ever getting others, but this is the only one I was able to get. So I keep this. I think I even used it, because it looks pretty used. So that's the glasses, and there's a man. Okay, there's Aunt Beru. This is the one from the 80s, and the Aunt Beru is from the 90s. And Aunt Beru came with this droid. The land speeder. Now the land speeder, I can't remember. Some of the collection I purchased, and some of them I've had given to me as gifts. And the land speeder, I can't remember if this is something that I purchased myself. There was a time in the late 80s when I befriended this guy, and he had a very large Star Wars collection. And one day he just decided to give me all of his Star Wars collection, and he was very kind. And I thought, wow, that's very nice of him to just do that out of the kindness of his heart. Well, it turned out he actually wanted something, but still I was able to benefit from it. And I was so happy. So I think I may have gotten this from my friend. And these are the two figures from Return of the Jedi. And for some reason, I'm blanking on which is one. This is EV-99, and the other one's 88. I think this is 88, and this is EV-99. The one thing about the EV-99, this one right here, is that the arm, it was very fragile, and the arms would break. And, of course, mine broke as well. And these are the collectible buttons that I got back in the 80s. There was a lot, and I did collect those. One there. This is the Grand Moff Tarkin that was released in the 90s. And this is the original with Peter Cushing, because when they came out with the prequels, they featured Grand Moff Tarkin in episode 3, and obviously they had a different actor, so they came out with an action figure that did not have Peter Cushing and had this actor with his terrible makeup on it, and I didn't even want that. So this one is the true Grand Moff Tarkin. All right, down here, this is my R2-D2 telephone. and I got this back in the 90s, and I actually used it. This is the receiver where you pick up and talk on the phone. I really liked it, and what was really cool about it is when somebody called, R2's head would turn, and he would make the beep boop beep sounds. It was really cool. I loved it. But now that I don't have a landline, I have no real use for it, so I don't. So all I do is display it. And it looks like it's really dirty right here. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know how that got really. I don't know what that's all about. And here's another cup that I got. This is the Empire Strikes Back cup back in the 80s, and I used it too. And you can even see the chips on it, which I probably did with my teeth because I was a dumb kid at the time. I don't know if I did this or it's something that had happened before I got it, because it's a possibility I got it used. But I got this back in the 80s, and I did use it. I loved it. It's a great piece. Plastic. I have no idea where I got this. It's been so long ago. It also has a matching bowl, which I ate a lot of cereal, breakfast cereal in this. I truly used this. I think it has a crack in there. That's unfortunate. But I had a lot of fun. I had a Star Wars morning. I woke up and had my Star Wars breakfast. Probably ate C-3POs in this as well. Remember C-3POs? I love that cereal. It was really good. Okay, the Return of the Jedi game for Atari. I did play this. I had Atari 2600 back in the day. And I did play it. It was fun back in the day. And here is another 90s collection, a Princess Leia collection that has actual cloth for clothing. And I featured this in a video a while ago showing how much bigger Wicket is in this one compared to the one that was released in the 80s. If you curious to see that one, just check back in the history of my videos. This is a Star Wars soap that I got back in the 80s. It features Luke Skywalker. Never used. Kept it in the box, never opened it. And I believe it has a smell. I can't smell anything, but it never used it, so I don't even know what it's like, but I just, it's funny because some things that I got back in the day, I kept in the package. I didn't do anything with it. And other things, I opened them up and I just totally used it, like the bowl and the cups. It's just crazy. And this is Luke Skywalker and the Tauntaun that I got back in the day. And these are the coins that came with the last 17 figures. And I have all of the coins that came with them because I collected all the last 17. These are the coins for them. This is a gun that came with the large size Stormtrooper. And I only have the gun. It was a figure that I never had back in the day. I never got the large size Stormtrooper, so I decided to purchase one recently. I think it's Dusty. I decided to purchase one recently, but I really didn't like it. It was too messed up. It was too old looking, but I decided to keep the gun and I sold the Stormtrooper, and I hope one day to get another large size Stormtrooper. There's more buttons. Revenge of the Jedi. This is Revenge of the Jedi. Very cool. You can see that Revenge of the Jedi. These are C-3PO, R2-D2 from the Droids animated series. I got this at Disneyland. I had a Wicket from the animated series, but unfortunately, we had an earthquake. It had a different kind of display. It was displayed on a shelf, on top of a shelf, and we had an earthquake, and it fell over, and my roommate's dog got to it and chewed it all up. Yes, I was very pissed about that. This is the cube for the kids meal, I believe it was what was it, Taco Bell kids meal, back when they released the special edition, and they were releasing all these really cool toys with the special edition. And I like this. It's a box that you just pull it apart, put it back together, and you get all these images in it. It's pretty cool. For the most part, my collection is mostly 80s. I have a lot of 90s, but I like to display the merchandise that I got in the 80s. This is a bottle of shampoo, or is it bubble bath? I can't remember. What does this say? Star Wars Chewbacca bubble bath. It's a bubble bath. I have no bubble bath in it because I didn't want it to dissolve the plastic. I don't know. I had heard that it could happen if you just keep the bubble bath in it. So I poured out all the soap, and I don't even think I used the soap. I just poured it out, and I have this as a display. This is the picture that I got. Let me get the light out of that. There we go. This is a picture that I got from the Star Wars fan club back in the 80s, so I decided to frame it. This is a toothbrush that I got back in the 80s. And as you can see, I didn't use it. Like I said, some of the things I kept in the package and wanted to just keep it and have it look nice and not use it. But other things, like I said, the bowl, I would use it. I don't know what was going on, but this one I've kept in the package the whole time, obviously. The Imperial Troop Transport that we never see in any of the movies, but it was something that was released back in the late 70s, and it used to make sound when you press these buttons, but unfortunately it got so old that it just malfunctioned, and it doesn't make the sound anymore. But this is something that I got back, I think, for Christmas, and I was really happy to have it, even though it's not featured in the movie. And this, I have several Stormtroopers that I started collecting recently. Before, I only had one. For the longest time, I only had one Stormtrooper. But then I decided, well, I could make an army of Stormtroopers, so I decided to buy several Stormtroopers, and this one, unfortunately, has a yellow in the back. This is not something that I had from the 80s. This is something that I purchased recently, probably about a year or two ago from eBay. And I think I didn't buy just the one with the yellow, because you can buy a lot of Stormtroopers that are pretty cheap, but I think it was a pack of 3 or something like that. So I had 3 Stormtroopers, and one of them happened to look like that. So I keep it in this here, like this, so you can't really see the backside. This is another item that I got back in the 80s. The vehicle maintenance energizer toy. Just a lot of these different kind of mini toys that they came back in the 80s that I got. Here's another one that was released in the 80s. These mini rigs that had nothing to do with the movie. They are not in the movie at all, as far as we can tell. But it's sort of whoops, that's not good. But it's sort of the expanded universe type thing. And obviously, as well as for Kenner to make money. So just make more toys and make more money. But I got it anyway because I love Star Wars and I wanted to get a lot of Star Wars stuff. Let me put this top back on. It's hard to do this with one hand. More buttons. More buttons right there. Another coin that I happened to have a little baggie for, so I kept it in the baggie. And here at the bottom shelf, The Empire Strikes Back. I have 2 of these. This one still has the wrapping on it. I believe I got that back in the 80s. I purchased one, and then I think I got this when, you know, the video game collapse, and video games were just so cheap, like $1 or $2, and that's why I purchased that one. So I have two, one that I had opened and played with, and this one that's still sealed in plastic. And there's another mini rig right there. And here is the Probot and turret playset. And the Probot kind of, and this is the one I featured in a video a while ago. And this is how I display it with the figures. I just knocked over the Probot. I had it looking nice for a while there. And there's Leia and Han. There's this soldier, another rebel soldier, and the AT-AT driver. And here's a laser cannon that breaks apart when you press the button. And here's a Return of the Jedi button. Oh, look at all that dust. I think it's time to dust. And here is Max Rebo and C-3PO and R2-D2. And here's another laser cannon. And here's another one of those. This is more like an accessory that can go with the action figures. And this one too. And these were featured in the movies, unlike something like that. So then back over here, you can see a birthday card. People are giving me birthday cards on my birthday, obviously. For a while, they're giving me Star Wars birthday cards, but not so much anymore, which kind of bums me out because I really enjoyed those. So this is one of my displays. Oh, I'm not finished. Way up here on top, I have, there's that cup. Let me move the cup. The Millennium Falcon. The original Millennium Falcon, which is totally complete. It's used. I played with it when I was a kid. So all the stickers on it, except for on the top. I think I'm missing right there. See that? I'm missing that. It fell off. They get old and the glue doesn't work anymore and they fall off. So that's my Millennium Falcon back in the 80s that I got in the 80s. Still pretty much intact. And this is another picture that I got from the Star Wars fan club. And I decided to frame it to keep her protected. And I can't decide if I'm going to put this on the wall or just leave it here as part of display. So it's one of my Star Wars displays. I will feature more videos later of my Star Wars display. Hope you enjoyed watching the video. Thanks for watching. I'm Richard and still obsessed.